Hello there, and welcome to Brayden's Bodacious Babble, where I, your host, Brayden Levy, talk about all sorts of cool things. And so, for the topic of today's episode, I have a bit of a question. And that question is, are we losing the art of listening? So, yeah, pretty broad question. So, what exactly is the art of listening? So, basically, it has a few definitions, but basically, what it mostly comes down to is like noticing and acting on what someone says and responding to advice or request. Basically, making people feel like they are heard and that you actually listen to them. And so you actively make an effort to hear them as well. And you're always just ready and alert, and you're always just ready to be attentive in a conversation you're having, or not even just in conversations, but with just like even learning environments, even just like learning something like in school, or maybe like you're just learning something online and you're just listening to like a educational podcast or something that's like trying to teach you something like that. It's kind of ironic that this is actually a podcast and you're kind of here listening to me. So this is actually quite a fitting question. And to give you the short answer, the very short answer to that question, no, I think we listen mostly fine. Like I don't think it's really decreased that much over the years. Like people, I believe, at least in my experience, just feel like involved and like they feel heard. But my experience isn't everybody's experience, so I could be wrong, but we'll see, I guess. But despite the fact that we listen pretty much fine, I think there are quite a few indirect factors which hamper our hamper or like make things better for our listening ability. And so I'll go over those in a second. But like I'll briefly explain why I think our art of listening has not directly gone down much over the years. And so like obviously if you feel comfortable because you feel like someone's listening to you, that means that they have the art of listening. And if anybody feels comfortable with talking to you, then you have the art of listening. And so I believe this happens with a lot of people, where everyone like feels generally comfortable with like having conversations or learning something and whatnot. And so I don't think it's like that bad in terms of conversations. Like we listen pretty much fine. And so other than conversations are obviously we know about climate change, littering, poverty, wars, discrimination, the isms, and lots of other like issues that are currently happening around the world. And we definitely would not know about these things if it weren't for our ability to listen. And so we can also be warned about things like dangers and like we can learn lessons, follow directions, and even like in school be taught in our education system and whatnot. Like if we couldn't listen, we couldn't do anything. If we still didn't listen, our education would be meaningless because basically what school is just you sit in a classroom, listen to a teacher talk, maybe watch a video. Actually, funny thing is, whenever you do watch a video, you're usually listening to the words that people say so that like you can actually like write down what they're saying. So like if we had lost or if we were losing the art of listening, like school would be pretty much worthless at this point because like everyone needs to listen to learn and to be comfortable and just know things in general. Like obviously if we didn't know climate change was a thing, things are going to be really bad in the future. But thankfully we know it's a thing, so let's just hope that it won't be that bad in the future. However, something that I think um affects our ability to listen is our interest in like the topic that we're listening to or what we're listening to. And so I think it can either like your ability to listen can either increase or decrease depending on how invested and interested you are in it. And so for me personally, I actually have ADHD And in my experience, I listen less and zone out a lot more if I'm not interested in something. Like it recently, it's actually been getting pretty bad at school because I've just zoned out in class because I'm just tired. And now it's actually, as of me recording this, it's almost the end of the year, and so I'm just kind of like zoning out constantly. But thankfully, it's nowhere near as bad as it was back when I was in elementary school. Because, like, back in the day, I was literally put into special programs that, like, were used for special students because I didn't listen in school when I was younger. Like, it was really bad. Like, I would do so much stuff as an excuse to not pay attention in class. Like, I would literally pretend to sleep in class just so I would have the excuse of, oh, I was sleeping, so I couldn't learn anything. And yeah, obviously, I was trying to trick the teachers into thinking I had fallen asleep, but I wasn't a very good actor, so that didn't work out in the end. And also just a lot of other stuff that put me in the special programs. But yeah, I still am in special ed or spec ed programs, but like my actual education is the same. Like I like back in the day, my work was like below my grade level, but now I do stuff that's at my grade level. So yeah, and I even go above and beyond. Like I take pretty hard stuff sometimes. So yeah, and since I'm still in the spec ed program, I most of my friends are in the spec ed program, and so almost all of my friends like actually have ADHD, and so they like me have a lot of trouble paying attention sometimes because of their ADHD. Like seriously, if I want to say something to all of them, right? Like if I want to gather them all together and announce something, it's going to take me a good 5 to 10 minutes. Like even if me and all my friends are sitting together, it's going to take me 5 to 10 minutes to get them all to sit down and listen to what I have to say because they're just so caught up in whatever they're doing and they're so hyper and whatnot. And so it can be a bit difficult sometimes, but yeah, that happens. They're fun though. They're fun to hang out with. Like sometimes I'll even like talk to them for long periods of time, like minutes at a time, like multiple, like 2 or 3 maybe. But like when I actually like ask them something about what I'd said, they'll be like, "Oh, sorry, I wasn't paying attention that much," or they were zoned out or something like that. Which I don't hold that against them. Like I get it. Not everyone's interested in the same things. I know some people are more offended by that by others, but thankfully I'm not. And yeah, just overall, me and a lot of other people I know just zone out very, very easily. And it's quite annoying, honestly. Not gonna lie, not gonna beat around the bush. Like I'm not happy about the fact that I do zone out quite a bit because like I want to do things, but like even if I want to do them, it's sometimes troublesome because like I just waste time staring out into freaking space and thinking about random crap that's not really that important. So yeah, but like the thing is, whenever I'm talking with my friends, right? If I actually talk to them about something that they're passionate about, like I can like really easily grab their attention. Like they're like it's kind of funny honestly. Like they'll go from like not like looking at me at all, and then I'll say something that they're interested in, and they'll be like, "What? What did you say? Sorry." And they'll just kind of like look their heads at me. It's kind of funny honestly. It's the same with my brother actually. Like he'll just be like, if we're in like a car ride together with my family, and my parents are talking about something, and then as soon as one of us mentions like a video game or something like that, he just like wakes up and he's like, "Wait, what? What are you guys talking about?" And yeah, it's kind of funny. We always kind of joke about that. And yeah, like and basically when people are like more passionate about something, they definitely listen more easily and willingly. And I know I do. Like obviously I can listen to certain like podcasts or just audio videos, like with nothing on screen. I can just listen to it for like hours straight just because I'm interested in the topic. And if it's not, then like I'm not really gonna like care about it at all if it's not something that I'm interested in. And I think this is one of the main reasons why a lot of people struggle in school it's just because like they just don't really care about what they're learning about, you know? Like not that many people are into math, and so like I know quite a few people who aren't that good at math. But for me, I actually do enjoy doing math. So like I say I'm pretty good. Not like a master or anything, but like I'm probably like above average at least just because I enjoy doing math. It's very difficult. Like I said, I'm no master. Like I have struggled a lot with it in the past, but I did enjoy doing it, which gave me the fuel to keep going and to like keep doing such hard work, you know? And but the thing is, if somebody is interested in the topic, like it's kind of crazy what some people can know. Because like if someone's interested in a certain show, movie, game, or even just random topic, then they're probably going to know everything about that topic. So yeah, like I not gonna lie, because I have a few friends who are into D&D, Dungeons and Dragons, and I just really can't fathom like how they can put so much information into their brains. Like it's kind of crazy, honestly. Like I don't know. I'm probably if I were like thinking about myself, like if I weren't into let's say the Pokemon franchise, which is a surprisingly complex like video game series, like I would like not. I would just be overwhelmed by all the stuff in it. Like over time, after playing a lot of Pokemon and whatnot, I know pretty much everything about the games. Like I know how almost every mechanic works, and so yeah, that's just how people are. If they're into something, they'll know a lot about that certain thing. So yeah, like as I was saying earlier, right? Like if you ever wonder why you can listen to something or watch something for hours straight and not get bored, it's just because you're passionate about it. That's exactly why. Like your passion allows you to pay more attention and to listen more than you would normally. And I think it's definitely helped me out in some cases because in some of my courses in school, I actually did enjoy them more than others, and so I was able to actually like pay attention more because I was actually interested in what I was doing. Whereas if I was like in like let's say I don't know somewhere in geography class, I don't think I did the best in that class. I could have done better, honestly, but like the only reason I didn't do better was because like I didn't really care too much about it. So yeah, it's alright though. And so like thing is, even if that thing they enjoy listening to can like negatively affect them, like they're still not gonna care because they're like passionate about it. Because like I have I know I keep saying how I have multiple friends who do this and that, but I guess quite a few of my friends just fall into like the categories I happen to be talking about. And I also just know quite a few people. And so like I know quite a few friends or people who literally like stay up until the next morning just playing video games like in their rooms. And like it does get kind of bad for some of them sometimes where like they just like exhaust themselves for no reason. Like some of them have stayed up until like 5 in the morning playing video games. Like it's kind of crazy. And yeah. And this is also kind of like the logic with like people who are on like addictions and whatnot. Like even if their addictions negatively affect them, like they're still gonna like use those things that they're addicted to because it feels good to them, you know? And so they're definitely passionate about it. And so because of our passion, like we'll definitely pay more attention to certain things, which allows us to listen more. And it increases our art of listening. And yeah, but the thing is also I think technology is also something that has definitely had like a big influence on our attention span. And our attention span is linked to our listening ability because as I was saying earlier, if we're not interested in something, we're not going to pay attention. And that's because I think in recent days our attention span has been shortening by like quite a bit, like quite a substantial bit, honestly. And it's kind of funny how like short people's attention spans can be. But like at the same time, I'm also just kind of worried because like these people just get like just don't care like so easily, and it's kind of like worrying, honestly. Not gonna lie. I don't think it's too bad for me. I think my attention span is pretty long. Like I can literally sit around for hours and do something I'm not interested in. Like I'm not gonna be sitting there enjoying myself, but like I can at least do it. Unlike with a lot of other people I know who just wouldn't. And so like the thing is, the reason why this is because like I'm not gonna get into like a whole like debate about oh technology is rotting our brains or something like that. Like I'm not here to do that. But like from my limited knowledge of the topic, basically, like technology just like gives us more instant gratification compared to like a lot of other things. And so if we don't get that instant gratification, like we're not gonna like put in the effort to do other things because things that take a lot of effort just take a lot of effort, so we're not gonna do them. Even if in the long run we get more gratification from it. But the thing is, technology gives us instant gratification. Like think of like social media or something like that where like you can just find a random video and then boom, you're like you get that like dopamine hit, you just like find any random thing. Even like in a video game, just like pressing a button and like taking out like an enemy or something. Like that's like instant dopamine right there. And that gives you the instant gratification that we all desperately like want so badly. And so I definitely think it's not the best for our attention span, but yeah, like the reason why you would get bored so easily from something because you're not passionate about it, and because we also have short attention spans. Because we have a short attention span and we're not passionate about something, we're not going to put in the effort to actually do the thing that we don't like, even if it's good for us in the long run. Like having a job, like obviously for most jobs, especially part-time ones, like I doubt many people would enjoy having or doing their part-time job, or for certain people their like full-time job. But like the thing is, you also have to do those things for money. So yeah, and you know what they say, money makes the world go around. And like if people aren't willing to put in the effort to like do something that they don't want to do, like their job, then they're not going to be very successful. And so this definitely also affects our ability to listen because like the difficult thing about having conversations with people nowadays is that they just like go on their phones. Like I'll be talking with like random people and whatnot, and they'll be like looking on their phones or like get a notification, or they won't even get a notification. They'll just be on their phone or like on like some sort of device, just like playing a game, texting somebody else. And I'm like, and for me, I'm like, yo, could you please like actually like look at me and pay attention? I'm like trying to talk with you and whatnot. And then like I don't say that to them obviously because I don't want to be rude, but like it does get on my nerves sometimes. Not gonna lie. And like I think overall technology has definitely been negatively affecting our ability to listen. And like yeah, it's pretty crazy honestly. Like and the thing is, even if you want someone to get off their technology so you can talk to them, like it's not gonna be that easy for them. Like they're not gonna want to get off. Like as as quite a few people online or just in speeches or like monologues have probably told you before that like technology is kind of an addiction, which it kind of is, honestly. Technology is a bit addicting, honestly. And so it's the same logic as someone who's addicted to something like to drugs or alcohol. They're not going to want to get off either because like they really want it extremely badly or they think they need it. Like they kind of like condition themselves into thinking they need it and then they keep getting more and more. But then the thing is, right, if if you do these certain things and you like just give in to your addictions and give in to like these instant gratifying like pleasures and whatnot, then you'll kind of like distance yourself from other people and you won't be able to listen to them as well. and it's quite worrying because like I don't want people to be distant. Everyone deserves to like be together, you know. But like I think in the end, it's kind of like separating us in some ways, which I think is quite unfortunate. But like there's not much I can do on my own. But like I'm not gonna let that discourage me. I'm not gonna let the fact that I can't do much like discourage me in any way because I know that if one person does it, then many other people might do it as well. So obviously we'll add up, and hopefully someday we won't be as reliant on our technology as we used to be. And so that way we'll actually be able to listen to people more and learn things from each other. Not learning from technology, because sure, you can listen to like any random educational video and whatnot, but like I think it's a lot better if you like learn and listen to someone else that's like next to you or talking to you, you know? It's a lot more engaging. Because a lot of people nowadays are just like, oh, I'll just search for something with Google. But like I personally, I try to make an effort to like ask other people first before I go to Google. And if they don't give me a good answer, then I'll go to Google. But like I'd prefer to like talk to someone with that, you know, instead of just like getting my instant answer. Because like in the end, I am going for an answer. An answer is what I want. But I also want to make more bonds and to make people feel like they're heard, you know? Because, like, if you ask questions about what they're talking about or what they do or who they are, then they'll feel like that you're more, like, interested and invested in, like, what they do and who they are and whatnot. And so I think that's a definitely a good step into, like, helping people feel heard and to, like, help our art of listening from, like, going bad and whatnot. Just, like, asking people questions about things, it's pretty good, you know? And, like, yeah. But the thing is about technology is that like obviously it can become pretty bad and whatnot with like people just not wanting to get off. And so they just can't listen to people, which is bad. But the thing is about technology, it has over the years, since it's become so high tech and whatnot, it can also enhance our ability to listen because it enhances our communication. And so what I mean by that is basically we are able to socialize with people around the world now. Like we back in the day, you'd have to like send letters to people across the world, and then maybe you'd get like a response like days, weeks, months later. And like I couldn't imagine doing something like that now. But back in the day, that's how they had to do it. But now it's instant, instantaneous. Like we can get responses when we send someone a text. Like if they're being attentive and whatnot, we'll get a response back in seconds or minutes, even if they're like somewhere else in the world, which is pretty cool, you know? And so that way we can always stay in touch with people and we can always listen to people, basically. And so I think this is kind of a double-bladed sword, but like technology can help us socialize more. Like you'll be given more experience and time to socialize with people. But like obviously if you socialize in like certain ways and whatnot, then it can become more of an addiction. Because like the thing is, most of my friends that I know and just most people I know are like straight up just like they're more confident through text than they are in person. Like through text, they say so much stuff to me that they would never say in person. Like because I know this person who like they seem so calm and chill, you know, they're like kind of quiet too. And then when you start texting them, they're like super hyperactive and also horny at the same time, always talking about naughty things, let's say. And it's kind of funny. It's like completely. They seem like two completely different people. You think like, oh, like they're. It's like a switching thing where it's like it's person X's account, but person Y is actually talking for them. But no, it's person X talking. They're just more confident through texting, and yeah, it's kind of funny, honestly, because like and confusing as well, because like then you don't really get to know people as well if they aren't willing to open up to you in person, and so that can definitely be a bit of a nuisance sometimes, not gonna lie. And like, yeah. And like technology has like gone so good nowadays that like if it weren't for the fact that like we probably need to socialize in person. Because like obviously like I would say like socializing online should be used as more of a bridge to get to socializing in person, like meeting people and just like making sure you stay in touch. Like I think the main course should be in person. Like I don't think it's the best to have like a friendship or a relationship that's like entirely virtual because like then you're not going to like bond as much. I mean, maybe you could. Maybe in the future, like socializing virtually will become the norm and like everyone will be completely used to it. But like as for right now, right, I think socializing in person is a lot better than socializing virtually because then that way you can sort of like read people more easily and you can listen to them more easily. And it's also things where like if you're in a call, there'll be like interferences and whatnot with like the call being crappy or the internet going down. That's a big thing. The internet going down is like basically like a temporary apocalypse or doomsday nowadays because we've become so reliant on it. But like the thing is with technology, because it's so advanced, like if it weren't for the fact, as I was saying, that we need to socialize in person, I think school could be entirely virtual and it would actually be more efficient on paper than actually going to school physically. Because the thing is, if you're not attending school physically, then you won't have to worry about getting up as early in the morning. You won't have to worry about like times or anything like that, and you'll have more like time to do stuff and whatnot. Like I think it could actually work a lot better. Like as a purely educational experience, I think virtual school is honestly the way to go, at least on paper. I'll get to why I don't think it'll actually work. Like on paper, I think it would actually be better than physical school. But I do think physical school is better because you actually get to socialize more and listen to people more and make more bonds and whatnot, which is better. But like also the reason why I don't think in the real world that virtual school just wouldn't work is because students aren't going to pay any attention in class. Like, I remember when I had virtual school 2 years ago in grade 10, like, I I would literally just sit on my computer and just, like, do something else while I was in a call. And, like, there's no way for, like, teachers to, like, check on you or anything like that and keep you in line. And so I think it kind of does promote laziness, honestly, because I got really lazy in grade 10, in the second half of grade 9, and also grade 11. So, yeah, it's a bit annoying. I'm honestly really glad that I don't have to deal with that again. At least I hope I don't. But yeah, it's just not gonna work. Because as I said, listening to people is a lot easier in person than it is virtually. So yeah, like so overall, right? Like I don't think our listening abilities have decreased at all. Like I think it's been pretty much the same. It's been stagnating for a while now. If anything, it's maybe been increasing, but like I don't have much to prove that or back that up, so I'm just gonna say it's stagnating, and at most it's increasing. I wouldn't say it's decreasing at all, honestly. I really wouldn't. Like I think for some people it's been decreasing more, but like for everyone overall, right? I think it's fine. And what I mean by individuals is that like some individuals just like are more of a disadvantageous like situation compared to other people, or like they're more reliant on technology, or like they grow up in an environment where like they aren't used to like actually like socializing and listening to other people and whatnot, and maybe they themselves don't feel heard, and so it's hard for them to like hear other people more easily, or the other way around. And yeah, it's complex. Honestly, it really is. But uh, but the thing is, right, with our listening ability not really decreasing at all, I think there is something that is decreasing. And so the thing is, once you listen to something, right? Like if you're learning something, like you should know what to do, right? If you listen and if you learn, you should know to do something. But the thing is, you might not necessarily follow through with what you've been listening to, and you might not necessarily do as you say and do as you listen to. I mean, you don't do or follow orders like you're supposed to. And so basically, I've noticed that like mostly recently, like I think this has been going on for a lot longer, but like I've only been noticing it in recent years because it's something hard to notice, and I think you wouldn't notice it until you get like into your more mature years, like I am. Like I'm 17, by the way, and like I've noticed that many people, including myself, like listen to certain things, and they know exactly what they have to do something right. But the thing is, they people procrastinate or stick to what they are used to doing, and these things might not necessarily be right, and so they kind of bite themselves in the butt sometimes just because they don't follow through with what they are told and what they have heard. Excuse me. So, yeah, an obvious example of people procrastinating is schoolwork. People procrastinate on that all the time. Like it's really bad, honestly. It really is. Like people, including myself, like we literally sometimes just save things until the last minute, and then everything goes wrong at the last minute, and then we're out of time, and it's just bad, you know. Like people procrastinate on a lot of things, and some people even procrastinate on like even doing school. Like some people are just too lazy to get out of bed, or just too lazy to do something else important, you know. Maybe too lazy to go to your job, or just don't feel like doing something. Or maybe you just prefer to rest your brain instead of actually getting up and doing something, you know? Because honestly, I find that it's something I do often. Sometimes if I'm like overwhelmed, I will literally just sit on my bed for hours straight and just rest my brain. I don't get anything done, but it feels really good. Like when I'm not doing anything, that's when I feel the best. But the thing is, I also have a lot of things I gotta do, so I can't really let that pleasure overcome me and whatnot. So, yeah, it's a bit annoying. And like some people I know procrastinate almost everything, and it's been kind of negatively affecting their lives in many ways. But I won't go into detail, obviously. But yeah, like, and if you do procrastinate, right? If you don't follow through with things you say, then like if you say you're paying attention, but you're not actually like I think listening and actually like getting it are like two different things. Because you can listen to someone say how to do something, but if you instantly forget, then you're not really getting it, you know. And so this, if you do this, people will think that you don't really care about what they have to say, and so and they will think that you don't care about other things in general. But as for this topic, they'll think you're not caring about what they're saying, and that makes them think that that they aren't heard, and so they're not really in like a proper conversation, you know? And like it definitely like affects things really badly. Because I have done quite a few bad things because of procrastination. And yeah, pretty bad honestly. But like and there's also the other thing, right, where like you might prefer to do things your way instead of the way like some instructions tell you to do it, or how your friend or family like gives you advice on how to do something, but you do it your way instead. And so what I mean is like for example, right, like whenever I bake and cook, it's actually a bit of a problem where I actually just like do whatever I feel like, excuse me, instead of like directly following the instructions or the advice of my like mentors or peers and whatnot. I just do things my way because I think it feels right to me, you know. But the thing is, it doesn't. Even if it does feel right to me, it's not actually the right way to do things. Like I've made quite a few, let's just say extra crispy pizzas, just cause like I thought if I cooked them longer, then they would get cooked in a better way or something like that. But no, and then they ended up with like scorched black crust, which was not the best. Like the pizza was, like the top was still good, but like the bottom, oh, disgusting. And yeah, sometimes I just don't follow instructions at all, and so it's not bad. And I'm gonna get a bit personal here. Like I'm not gonna like name anybody or like go into specific details, but like I'm a pretty chill and non-judgmental dude, right? Like whenever like I'm hanging out with people, I'm usually one of like the calmer people who's there, and like people can trust me more easily. And so because people trust me, they actually, if they're having problems, they actually come to me for emotional support. Not always me, maybe it'll be someone else, but I notice that it's like usually me because like I'm a very approachable guy, and like I think the best way to help other people is just by listening to what they have to say because that makes them like feel like they're heard, and it makes them feel like that they're more important, that you're taking time to like listen to what they have to say. But and like I know this, right? But the thing is I have a really bad habit where whenever I do listen to other people, I usually try to tell them like what they should be doing. And like I kind of just like I'm just like, hey, you should do this or you should do that, or you have this many options or you could do this, and it kind of ends up bothering them, you know, being told what to do because they come to me wanting to be heard, not told what to do. They want to talk, not be talked to, and just it bothers them a lot. And like I know this, I know it bothers them, and I don't want to do it. I don't want to bother them and whatnot. But like for some reason, I just keep on doing it. Like I keep just telling people what they should probably do, just because it feels right to me, even though it isn't right. And so like it's been a pretty bad habit of mine that I've had with a few people. Where like I'm trying to get out of it, obviously, but it's a bit difficult since like it's habits are just ingrained in your body and mind. So it's not that easy. And I've ended up like doing more harm than good in this way, you know. And like I once had a great friend, you know, like a great friend of mine. And they were having some issues, and he wanted to like come to me for emotional support and whatnot. And I just kept trying to solve their problems for them, telling them what to do. And as I've said, people don't want this. People don't want to be told what to do. And so this was a constant thing, by the way. Like they would keep coming to me for like help. Like sometimes I would do good, but like sometimes I would also do bad. And so after doing it so bad, like badly so many times, like they ended up getting really, really upset with me. Just because like over time, they kind of didn't really tell me what they were like thinking about what I was doing, about telling them to do things. And so it just kind of like, I think it just kind of bottled up inside of them until it came out in they don't want to interact or see me at all right now because I had kind of hurt them in a few ways just because like I made them feel as if like they weren't important, that my way of doing things is better than them. Because like obviously people can change for the better, right? But you also gotta consider this, that if you tell someone to change, you're essentially telling them that they're not good enough right now. And so I personally think it's better to always constantly change and become better. But some people don't believe they can become better. And so to them you're basically saying you're not good and you never will be, because that's how some people think, unfortunately. And like, I always just end up hurting people in some way, even though I actually just want to help them. Like, I have to listen multiple ways, like either mentally or emotionally or even physically sometimes. I kind of have a bad habit of getting angry at some points. I kind of like act out in certain ways. Like I don't like hurt people badly, but like I like bother them by doing stupid stuff physically. And so like yeah, like for some reason I can never just seem to sit there and listen. I always want to interject and insert my opinion when people want nothing but for their opinions to be heard for once in their lives. Because they feel like they can't be heard. And I give them the impression that like I'm giving them a chance to be heard. But then I start talking about them and just saying like, oh, you should do this and do that. Your opinion is basically wrong and whatnot. And like I know I should just let them be, but for some reason I never listen to myself. And if I don't listen to myself, like people aren't gonna want to listen to me, and they won't want you to listen to them. And it can get quite bad, honestly, because like I I want to help people do good, but like if people don't want me to listen to them, then like I can't help. And I've made people feel like that letting me listen to them is a bad idea. Some people actively don't want me listening to them because they think I'll do something bad with the information I tell them. And like I think I really do need to change this. I wouldn't say I'm a bad person or anything like that, but like sometimes I can kind of give off the impression I'm like not as good as I seem to be. And so this kind of like breaks people's trust in me. And I want to change. But I just never end up following through with it. I don't listen to myself for some reason. And this applies to many people, just almost everybody, basically. They just don't follow through with things. And if they don't follow through with the things that we listen to, then we're effectively just like not doing anything. Like I wouldn't say we're losing the art of listening. What we are losing is the act of following through with the things we listen to. Even if we listen and we don't follow through, then there's no point. Well, I believe that wraps up all my thoughts for today. Thank you very much for listening, and I hope you can have a very wonderful day. Bye for now.